All right, 1 o'clock. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see so many folks. Welcome to 43North's first ever virtual demo day. We have over 300 investors from all over the world expected to join us today. So we thank you in advance for your time and interest in both 43North and our portfolio companies. So for those of you that are new to the family, we welcome you. 43North is an accelerator program based in Buffalo, New York that invests $5 million annually into 8 seed stage startups through our startup competition. Over the past 6 years, we've invested in 51 companies that have gone on to raise nearly 500 in additional funding, created over 1,700 jobs, and amassed a valuation of over $2 billion. You may have heard some of our recent portfolio success, including ACV Auctions last year, a year 2 winner of 43 North's. Buffalo is in our first unicorn, who raised over $150 million in a Series E last year. And most recently, Squire Technologies recently raised $34 million Series B round. So those are just recent pieces of news we thought you may have heard of in the news. We are indebted to our partner, DLA Piper, who has been with us through the thick and thin of the planning phases of our event today. So Kevin Morris, you may be familiar with, as he extended quite a few invitations on our behalf. Worked very closely with our team in pulling this together and kind of spreading the word for us. So we thank you, Kevin. Kevin, who is actually not an attorney, runs DLA's advisory group within the firm that manages VC relationships and oversees the firm's venture pipeline. And he's often connecting startups with investors. So we would encourage you to reach out. We'll send through his contact information in the follow-up communication from us. And you can also visit dlapiperaccelerate.com for more information. So we thank you, Kevin, and your team for the help in turning today into a huge success. We're excited to show you some of our strongest companies, and you're gonna hear from 13 of them today. They're all expecting to raise currently, and if not, within the next 6 months. So we're going to get started right away. Each company you're going to hear from for 4 minutes. We're going to refrain from Q&A, and we'll be in touch immediately following the event with contact information so you can start reaching out on your own as you desire. So with that, let's get things rolling. It's a very tight timeline today, I'll encourage you. So I may have to stop some folks sharp at 4 minutes, but we've rehearsed, and so we should be really good to go. So first up, I'd like to welcome Sean DeClerc of Kickfurther.
Oh wait, here we go. Start video, unmute. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
The floor is yours, Sean.
All right, great. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you not hear me?
Oh,
okay.
No, we're good.
Right.
Go ahead, Sean.
All right, all good. Great. All right. So yeah, let's get this started. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. My name is Sean DeClerc. I'm the founder and CEO of Kickfurther. So Kickfurther is solving a
Sean,
problem.
we can't hear you.
Brian said he could hear me. Colleen. Are you? I'm not sure. Can you guys hear me or not? Everybody else says they can hear me. I think it might be on your end, Colleen. So I'm just going to keep going. All right. So we are solving a problem that pretty much every single product business encounters, which is you have to pay for your inventory often months before you can start selling it and earning revenue from selling that inventory. So we come in earlier. We actually fund the production of the inventory for physical products companies. And we started this about 5 years ago. Since then, we funded almost over $48 million of inventory for almost 500 small and medium businesses. We're delivering an average of 14% return to the people that are actually providing the funding, and it's a community funding model. So you're going to see that our average deals are about $110,000, and this is kind of the key differentiator between us and every other person that operates in this market. So what you see here on the left is the standard deal, which is you, me, everybody else has our money sitting in deposit accounts with a bank. The banks are then lending it out to platform lenders. OnDeck just got acquired, but like OnDeck and Cabbage, anywhere between 5% to low teens, depending on the product. And then they're lending it out, building in a loss provision, a cost of marketing, and all of those other things, and lending it to businesses at an average rate of over 40% annualized. The businesses take that money, buy inventory, and then as they sell through the inventory, they pay the lenders back through the chain. With Kickfurther, all of that changes where our community of users can buy inventory directly from factories. We have that inventory produced and placed on consignment with the business, and as the business sells through the inventory, they pay our community of users back. So it's fundamentally a more efficient capital allocation solution. And what we've known for a while now is that the inventory finance advantage in this market is achieved through a data advantage. So you're looking at Amazon accomplishes this by collating the sales data and the inventory data between Amazon and fulfillment by Amazon to get their unfair advantage in lending to Amazon vendors. What Kickfurther has the ability to do is make that same advantage available to everyone else on the market. So we can access the same data from Amazon, fulfillment by Amazon, plus we can layer on top of that Shopify, Square, Volusion, WooCommerce, ShipStation, ShipBob. So we currently have Amazon and Shopify built, and we continue to build these integrations through investment in technology. Our revenue model is we earn a 5% funding success fee plus a 1.5% withdrawal fee when the deal pays back. Pretty standard for a fintech. And we, I like to say that the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So we have had a ton of success. Just a few weeks ago, in the midst of this pandemic, we funded our biggest deal ever, $632,000 in just over an hour. We have an excellent Trustpilot score supported by tons of reviews, and we run a public marketplace. So every business that you can see funded on kickfurther.com, if you want to talk to them, I'd be happy to provide an intro. Every single executive will speak highly of our solution. This is just a portion of our team. We have a total team of, we'll be 15 by the end of this month. And, we're about the six people here are located in Boulder, Colorado. The rest of the team is in Buffalo, New York. We're supported by an all-star board of advisors, including John Donovan, Bill Ty, who's the seed investor in Canva, Zoom, Wish, he was a co-founder of Treasure Data, Alex Boguski, and Jack Donenfeld, who's not as well known, but is a heavy hitter in the world of SEC compliance with 37 years of experience, Martindale Hubble AV rated, so really strong there. We currently, we're closing out the balance of a 2.5 million round. There's actually only about 50K left now, not 500K. So it's been really accelerating on this close. And we're also soliciting early interest for our next financing round, which we're looking at $5 million in Q4 of 2020 or Q1 of 2021. And I'll share any of this additional information once if anybody wants to book a meeting at the end of this. So thank you so much. And I will hand it over to the next presenter now.
Thanks, Sean. Great job. Devin, when you're ready, the floor is yours.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. We like to think of GroupRaise as the most delicious way to change the world. But what we're doing underneath that is we're filling restaurants' slow and undercapitalized times on average with 55 customers. The way we do this is with charitable organizers. Moms, sorority girls, cancer survivors, folks like that come to our site and they book a date with one of our restaurant partners. They then invite all of their friends and social connections out to eat with them or to order online at a local restaurant, and a percentage of the sales is donated back to a charitable cause. Super simple, super delicious. We take pages like this and we turn them into this, a packed restaurant. Our restaurant customers love the tangible nature of our product and watching the sales roll in. During COVID-19, we've actually launched takeout and delivering offerings. And these things are growing really quickly. We're excited to more deeply integrate with our restaurant partners and be able to become a new digital channel for them to drive sales. We did an event called Takeout for Good, which was a national event where we raised money for food banks across the country. We were able to drive $220,000 in sales to more than 1,500 of our restaurant partners in a single day. It's a really exciting and growing part of the business that we're experiencing a lot of growth in. Per 100 customers who goes to a GroupRaise meal, 40% of them, it's their first time in the location. 82% spend more than they would on a normal transaction, and 96% become repeat customers. So GroupRaise is really a profitable customer acquisition strategy for restaurants. And right now during COVID-19, it is Right now, during COVID-19, it is more paramount than ever for restaurants to be able to have digital sales channels, and community has become more important than ever. And we're so excited to be able to support our current customers as we've been able to drive them sales and build deep engagements. And so we're really positioned to continue to expand and take the market. We've worked with more than 74,000 organizations across the country. And just in the last 12 months, more than 1 million people have used GroupRaise to eat out at a local restaurant to support a cause. We started GroupRaise in Houston with just one concept, Mission Burrito, and now we're working with over 10,000 restaurants across 200 cities around the country. And we're really just getting started. Our business really started to explode when we learned how to sell to restaurants digitally. We view the entire United States as a series of 5-mile radiuses, with supply, our restaurant partners, and demand, our organizations, that need to be properly matched. We've built models to essentially predict the optimal density of both supply and demand, and we drive those models to a target lifetime value. This is how we allocate capital to grow, and this is what we're really excited to continue to pour money into and to continue to use these models to really feed our long-term sustainable growth. As we grew into these 5-mile radiuses, many restaurants across the country, enterprise brands, didn't want to be left out. They saw many local partners being successful and they wanted to compete. Today, we're working with over 100 brands in 5,000 locations, and it's one of the fastest and most exciting growing parts of the business. Our vision is to reach 1 million people eating every day in support of a cause. And in order to do that, we're building a network of 150,000 restaurants across the globe. And when we do that, we'll be able to drive them more than $5 billion in direct revenue, donate back $1 billion to community organizations around the world, and bring in more than $450 million in direct revenue to the business, allowing us to become a big, healthy, publicly traded company that's growing very quickly. We've been blessed to work with some amazing capital partners. These are folks who've been on the journey with us that we're excited to continue to work with and look forward to partnering with new folks as we continue to go and get that 1 million people eating every day in support of a cause vision. This is the team behind GroupRaise: myself, Kevin, Paul, and Sean. The best thing to know about us is we've taken this simple idea and we've turned it into a national brand, and we're excited to turn it into a global one. So again, we're GroupRaise, the most delicious way to change the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Devin. Love your t-shirt too. Next up, we'll welcome Lindsay from Immersed Games.
Hello.
Hi there. Ready when you are.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, so I'm Lindsay Trofe, founder and CEO of Immersed Games. Only 22% of graduating high school seniors are proficient in science, which leads to only 29% of adults in the US being proficient enough in science to read and understand the news. So generally when people talk about why this matters, they talk about STEM jobs, which is true. We do need to fill those. But also having a scientifically literate population is critical. That's one thing that's really motivating me right now. And we know that the STEM drop-off starts in middle school. We also know that we can reach this broader scientific literacy. We need to move students away from rote consumption into more active problem solving. But this is difficult to do every day with students in the classroom. So this is a large problem. The instructional materials market is an $11.8 billion market. And we're starting with a focus on middle school, this critical drop-off age in the US. And of course, COVID-19 has introduced problems that make this hands-on active learning even more difficult, and therefore has already also accelerated tech adoption, with a 90% increase in tech in schools during spring when we all had to close down. And we also experienced this with 25 times our normal teacher trial signups during those school closures. So now let's talk about how we actually address this problem. So our product, Title Online, empowers students to actually do science, to develop scientific literacy. So first, we engage students. They take on the role of a scientist in our alien planet set in the future as they create their own character that represents them. Then we fascinate students with real science phenomena. Rather than just watching videos about, say, the zombie ants in the Amazon rainforest, we bring them there. They go to explore the ant colony, collect data, and figure out what's going on. They get to have this direct experience in the simulation, rather than just passively, say, watching a video about it. So what's important here is that we use a video game to actually put students in the opportunity to use science and engineering practices and develop that critical scientific literacy. And of course, we can do that, whether they are in person, remote, or hybrid. We've had the support of the National Science Foundation and the Department of Education with non-dilutive capital that's helped us build out our product and establish initial efficacy with successful pilots. Last year was our first year selling into schools with over 4,200 student licenses sold. And also to note, while we are still in beta, we were awarded a top pick for learning from Common Sense Education. So our business model is simple. We're selling directly to schools and districts at $10 per student per year. So with large student quantities per school and low industry churn, this results in a healthy value per client. So even before these needs caused by COVID-19, we had aligned ourselves with a strong market trend due to the adoption of a new set of science standards that are being implemented across the country. So these standards, much like we already talked about, actually require a paradigm shift to more active learning and having students figure out science. So this means educators are already looking for new materials, and the need for products like ours are going to continue even after we're back to in-person schooling. So as you can imagine, right now, we are heads down talking with customers who are in the midst of a crisis and helping them figure out how we can help them this school year. So we're really focused on sales and ramping up for fall. We're on track to have 3 times our income from last year this year. So we will be fundraising starting Q4, and I'm happy to, of course, start taking some introduction meetings ahead of when we ramp that up after fall gets started. So before we close up, I do want to talk briefly about our longer term goals. So our goal is not just to push out our own content forever. We built Title Online to be an expandable platform. So right now, we're our own first customers, we're building out the content, but in the future, we're gonna make this available to third parties too, to add content onto our platform. So Title Online can be used as an experiential learning platform across many domains. And so this is what's going to let us reach our long-term goal of becoming a single video game where you can learn absolutely anything. Thanks.
Thanks, Lizzie. Really well done.
Thanks.
We're ready for Scott Wayman when he's ready. Okay. We're just waiting for Scott. Exciting news here in Seneca One Tower. We are one of the few places that have an opportunity to keep an eye on the Toronto Blue Jays, who will take the field that's adjacent to our building as their home field this summer. So there's tons of construction as I came in today, just getting ready to play baseball down there. There's Scott. You ready, Scott?
Hey, Colleen. Yeah, go Jays. And nifty background. It looks great.
Thank you. The floor is yours, Scott, whenever you're ready.
Hi, my name is Scott Wayman. I'm the founder and CEO at Kangarootime. And at Kangarootime, we are serving the early education and childcare market. It's a much bigger market than people think. And it's often referred to as the forgotten education sector because it's full of manual processes, lack of software, inefficiencies, thin margins, high staff turnover, heightened millennial parent expectations, and regulatory requirements.
Scott, just to interrupt, we can't see your deck.
Let me share screen. How's that?
There it is. Great.
So let me start from the beginning. So at Kangarootime, we serve the early education market, which is bigger than people think. Because of thin margins, high staff turnover, millennial parent demand, the segment's complicated and more dynamic. We essentially build 3 products. So we build the revenue cycle engine and HR components that we call the child care management system, the point of care tools that teachers use in the classroom. And we hardwire parents into the experience and give them more reference as to what the child's educational narrative is. So when we take on a new customer, we typically replace between 3 and 6 platforms. So everything from their revenue engine through the learning delivery platform to their payroll platform. And the software that we replace is typically aged and not built on user-centric design. For us, what this has meant is we've been able to be nimble and enable our customers to react faster than our competitors can. So at the peak of COVID, our centers went down to about 35% opened. And we found that the tools that we have actually help them to leverage opening their centers with contact tracing, contactless payments, being able to track health information, and most importantly, being able to communicate with their families and their staff and distribute new policies and new documents. So our competitors are either sleepy incumbents or they're too small and too specialized. Our revenue model, we typically collect as SaaS fees for the modules that we sell, so between $100 and $350 per month. Our margins on the fintech side have grown from about 50 basis points on every dollar that we process to about 110. Today, with COVID, our average revenue per customer is about $358, and that's sagged a bit because of our overall attendance is about 60%. We will scale back up and normalize before the end of the year and be at about $555. And by this time next year, with a couple of the new modules that we'll be releasing, we'll be at closer to $1,000. So we're adding education, enrollment, and payroll. But most importantly, we're adding an analytics platform. We're collecting so much data at point of care with all of our products across the continuum. We're starting to tell a really interesting story. And we've only penetrated less than 1% of the market. And we're doing it at scale now. So last month, we put our sales engine in place in January after we raised our Series A. We added $200,000 last month in ARR. And we've done it in a super capital efficient way. So right now we have 1.4 million in the bank. This month we will burn about 65K. By the end of the year, we will be at or near break even. And we'll double last year's revenue number, and then we'll quadruple it next year because in Q4 we have 2 large enterprise customers that are coming across the finish line. And the customers that we have partnered with, they're evangelical. They benchmark very high on the NPS scale, and it makes for low customer acquisition rates. We've been really successful scaling with our Series A, and we look forward to discussing our Series B with each of you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Scott.
Thanks, guys.
Stay well. Next up, we welcome Liz from HiOperator.
Hi, folks. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Now, next question, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. So hi guys, I'm Liz. We are HiOperator, and we are on a mission to create truly scalable customer service with humans at the core. So how do we do this? Now, I'll tell you in a second, but first let me tell you about us. I'm an MIT trained engineer, and my CTO is a former University of Cambridge professor turned developer who studies human emotions and behavior. So customer service is this big, hairy problem that isn't very well solved today. It's traditionally been a really big, fragmented market with very thin margins. So over $160 billion was spent last year on providing customer service in the US. About $50 billion of this is third-party and outsourced. But even though this is a really huge market, no player has more than 5% because they're all effectively staffing agencies, right? They go around the world and they help you hire cheaper labor. The problem is, today, companies rely on people to connect different systems and remember what to do at each step. Turns out, humans are really bad at remembering what to do when it comes to manual processes. I mean, we're slow and we just make lots of mistakes. So we built software to do this instead. And we start by integrating and bundling systems into our platform. This would have been really hard 20 years ago since everyone had their own homegrown solution. But thanks to the rise of SaaS, today we can build just one set of integrations and service a very large portion of the market. So since we bring everything into one unified platform, we unlock the ability to automate in a more platform agnostic fashion. We separate customer service processes into subtasks that are either deterministic, well-defined, these are well-suited to automation and machine learning, and the subtasks that are a little bit fuzzier around the edges and need more of a human touch. So augmenting humans with machine learning and automation in this manner allows us to be 5 times faster than just a human alone. And we don't sell the software. We give our clients just what they want, which is magically scalable customer service that onboards overnight, is higher quality and more cost-effective than any other option out there. So let's take a quick look at where we are today. So we're currently in growth mode. We went from doing $40,000 in revenue last July to over $600,000 last month. And despite fueling all of this growth, we have very strong unit economics and we are currently profitable. So since we figured out the model, we're looking to continue scaling aggressively. We're currently at a little over a $7 million run rate, and we have a strategy to get to 20 million plus in the next 12 months. So we're HiOperator. We're on a mission to create truly scalable customer service with humans at the core. If you're passionate about augmenting rather than replacing humans, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Great job, Liz. Thank you. Next up, we have Teo Ballback from CoachMePlus. Hi, Teo.
How's it going today?
Well, great.
How are we doing? Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Not there's your deck. Okay, and just presenter mode.
How's that?
We can see the next slide, and any notes that you have will see as well.
Excellent. Let's see. Display settings. How's that?
Better. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. My name's Teo Ballback. I'm the CEO of CoachMePlus. We are an athlete management system. The problem we're addressing is the explosion of sports performance data. Wearable technologies and new athletic measurement devices are generating a massive amount of data on athletes of all types. And the opportunity to take this information and make it applicable to the tens of thousands of gyms, personal trainers, and high schools that are trying to address these issues that are really augmented by the remote fitness demands of the COVID and world. What do? We create and deliver workouts. We take testing data and wearable information, and we take all that and we try to turn that information into action. We started out in the pro sports space. And about a quarter of all pro sports teams use our platform. Following on the Blue Jays entry, the Blue Jays are not a client of ours, but some of the people who they'll be playing, that Colleen will be able to look down on, do use our system on a daily basis. About 2.5 to 3 million data points per month enter into the system. Lots of different people have a lot of positive things to say about the platform, including Coach Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, Sidney Crosby at the Penguins, the San Francisco Giants, and the Chicago White Sox. This is what we call a sports science stack, which is all the different technologies and methods that you can use to evaluate and look at athletes of all types. And about 5 years ago, all this technology was really only available in pro sports locations. There's a device called a force plate that's just a fancy kind of scale that used to cost $40,000, and they were only available in a handful of pro gyms. In the last 6 months, these have started showing up in small local gyms, and they only cost about $2,000. They create an enormous amount of data that's very valuable both for the athlete and for the trainer coach. We take a holistic view of human performance. So we have workout builders and trackers, subjective wellness, PDF and notes, wearable devices, nutrition information, scheduling, and take all this and report that through our dashboarding and optimization platform. All this learning we've had in the pro sports space, we've allowed us to distill the platform into several small packages that are consumable by high schools and gyms. COVID has accelerated this trend, not only for gyms, but particularly for the military, which is the largest fitness organization in the world, which is struggling with distance coaching for most of their personnel. Our market's about $1 billion. That's the sub-market inside the $80 billion fitness market, overall fitness market. And we started on the pro side, then we moved to small colleges, high schools, military, physical therapy, gyms, and youth sports. We have an athlete management system, and we compete with one good company out of Australia called SomaDetect, and then we compete with a handful of smaller workout apps but we're the only platform that does both of those under one roof, and we're the only enterprise platform in the world that does this stuff. The military's costs are absolutely massive in human performance. It's about $4 billion per year. The military spends dealing with human performance issues. The Navy spends approximately $1 million per day on obesity and obesity-related issues. We have 2 SBIR contracting vehicles. We're extremely powerful vehicles for accessing new opportunities in the military space. And we have about 6 initiatives that we're trying to optimize for new revenue in 2020. The military revenue, military business lines are sort of self-funding, but we need growth capital for the other distribution channels. We're about $1.5 million run rate revenue, cash even, but we are looking for growth capital for this, these new opportunities. I will be investing about $100,000 of new money into the opportunities. So if this seems interesting to you, we're looking for an investor about a $2 to $3 million bite size. If this is interesting to you, please come find me. So thank you so much. We really appreciate the time. Take care.
Thanks, Teo.
Thanks,
Stay
Colleen.
well. Very excited to welcome Nadia to the stage.
Am I muted? Colleen?
Hi, Nadia.
Oh.
I know the feeling.
Okay.
So I can see you. The next step is to get your deck up there.
Oh, right. Okay, so I have to share my screen for, is everybody else looking?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so here we go.
You there, Nadia?
There we go. Can you see it?
I can see the deck perfectly. Yep.
Hello? Colleen?
Yep. Go ahead.
Yep. Can you see me?
Yep.
Hello?
You're good to go ahead, Nadia.
Okay. Can you see me?
Can see your deck.
All right. Good to go?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, investors. I'm Nadia Hamilton. Hi, investors. I'm Nadia Hamilton, founder and can you hear me? I'm founder and president of Magnusmode, and we leverage technology to enable people. People like my brother Troy, who has autism. He struggled from day to day with tasks that you and I take for granted, like brushing teeth or getting dressed in the morning. So when we were kids, I drew out step-by-step guides to help him to do things around the home, like getting dressed. So step 1, get your underwear. Step 2, put on your socks. He was able to follow these guides to do things with less stress and less assistance. But there are no guides for navigating the transit or going to a restaurant. And so Troy and millions like him are effectively cut off. Take A&W, for example. You and I might go to the counter and order our food without issue, but for somebody like Troy, he's in a line, go to the counter, order his food, and so on and so forth, or A&W staff. Magnus called community living. So now, instead of relying on me, Troy pulls out his phone with card decks that outline their customer experience. So for example, ordering food at a restaurant, visual, audio, and text instructions that guide him every step of the way. They're created by A&W and built especially for people like Troy. Fortune 1000 companies like A&W are gateways to the world. And there are 20 million people in North America who are actively seeking access. In addition, look at their caregiver network, siblings, parents, teachers, support workers. That's millions of people who want access to this market, and we are connecting the customers to them. Customers like M&T Bank and Colgate want to engage this enormous underserved community by becoming more working. We have 39 current customers, including New York City Transit, M&T Bank, and Colgate-Palmolive. We have 30,000 users and over 400,000 in annual recurring revenue. We've sold to small, mid-size, and large customers, but we recognize that to scale quickly, we need to focus our efforts on the real revenue generators, which are large customers. We're signing contracts for over $130,000 a year for 3-year terms. We have a laser focus on delivering exactly what the customer is telling us they want. They want further integration into their customer experience, engagement, feedback, and data. That's why we're seeking a $2 million investment to scale over the next 24 months. We're going to flow this investment directly into product development and also building the enterprise sales team. This will give us $5.2 million in annual recurring revenue in just 3 years. That's only 40 customers, and that's 4% of our market penetration. Join us. We have an opportunity here. Let's change lives and do what nobody has ever done before. Bring independence, inclusion, and freedom to millions of people and make a healthy return in the process. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Nadia. Next up, we'll welcome Irfan from Circuit Clinical.
Afternoon, everybody. I'm Irfan Khan. I'm a cardiologist, a researcher, and the founder and CEO of Circuit Clinical. Our goal is to bring patients to clinical trials as fast as possible. So we're aimed at the biggest problems there are. It is very difficult to find patients, bring them into trials, and keep them there. And the reason is an access bottleneck. Less than 3% of docs participate, less than that say they'd refer out. It means that 95% of us have no access. The result is $1.3 billion in 10 years spent bringing medicines to market. We solve for this by actually bringing clinical trials to the other 97% of health systems, the doctors and patients who are waiting for it. And what do we do for them? We bring the trial right to the patient. We deliver tech and team that lets the visit happen at the doctor's office or at home virtually. And we help patients stay engaged all the way through our award-winning patient engagement platform. This is a great moment. COVID-19 has basically shown that pharma needs to de-risk clinical trial operations by trying new things. We've seen big investments and big patient partnerships with pharma made in the space of patient identification, virtual trial platforms, including new site models. Circuit delivers all of these options to patients and to pharma. So what do we do exactly? We're involved in clinical trial acquisition, the business development for that health system, the budgeting and contracting. We bring the patients in both online and through the electronic medical record. We provide the research staff if they need it. And of course, our award-winning platforms does ratings and reviews to keep patients engaged. It's turnkey, it's customizable, it's cost-effective, and operates inside the existing framework. It's already trusted and validated by pharma and health systems. A little about Trial Scout. Think Yelp meets health grades. You go to a clinical trial visit and you get to have your say about the whole thing. That's never been done before in this space. It's incredibly powerful. It's good for patients, better search. It's good for the health systems, brand elevation and revenue. And it's great for pharma because it gives them actionable insights about the patients they care about. We've won 2 national awards in the last 10 months. We have more than 200 sites across the country onboarding as premium partners. Our business model, though, is bread and butter. We get paid to qualify and refer patients, set up the research centers themselves, enroll patients, and retain patients inside the trial using our engagement platform. It's been validated in 40+ clinical trial projects. The economic model's proven. We've had historic 100% year-over-year growth. We did a little less than $1 million last year, on track to hit $2 million this year. It scales. All we have to do is bring the network into new places, deliver the same services to more of our existing clients, and grow the client base. That's work we've gotten very good at over the last 5 years. If you name a top 20 pharma or a top 10 CRO, we know them, they know us. The team has domain expertise built and absolute experience building high growth teams as well. So our head of operations ran the largest medical group in upstate New York. Our head of sales came directly as a reference from LabCorp. He ran LabCorp as a VP of the Northeast, a $700 million book of business. Our head of network built IQVIA's QCare, the largest research network in the country. And our head of tech is the co-founder of HealthGrades. The board is also blue chip, including the founder of HealthGrades, Carrie Hicks, the head of product over at Medidata, which was just acquired for $5.8 billion, and Pfizer's former head of innovation, Craig Lipset. At this stage, all that's left to do now is take what we've gotten very good at in upstate New York, which we've already successfully exported out to New Jersey and now into Long Island, and grow it across the Northeast first for the rest of the country. That involves network expansion. We're taking $10 million in growth capital. We're well on our way. It's a sales and marketing team to build out that solution to pharma and our product development. We do believe in the era of COVID, there will be great acquisition opportunities out there. We are the kind of new solution that solves an old problem and has already been validated that can take advantage of that place. We're Circuit Clinical. Thanks.
Thanks, Numan. Great job. Next, we welcome Numan from Rally.
Hello there.
Hi, Numan.
Hi. Let's start sharing. Okay. Rally. It means to come together, to do something bigger than ourselves. Of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so if the thought of people coming together irks you, this might be a good time to mute me. But if you believe in that movement is essential to human nature, and if you know the future is mobility as a service, my name is Numan, and I'm here to talk to you about buses, the greenest form of ground transportation, the mode that moves more people than any other, and the mobility segment that's already generated Rally $40 million in revenue. First, we created the bus rideshare for events. Whenever and wherever communities get together, buses solve the logistics issues. Rally's apps crowdsource stops and crowdfund buses. We confirm trips and create routes on demand. Rally's bus rideshare has moved hundreds of thousands of riders to events across the country, partnering with leagues and teams to solve their experiential issues. And we enabled the largest mass mobilization in history. The Women's March alone generated Rally $3.6 million in a single day. After conquering events, we combined the wisdom of the crowds with the power of data to create intelligent routes. Traditional bus companies are inefficient and have given up on experience. Our technology automates planning, dispatch, and support. With a better UX, we're poised to disrupt this $134 billion global market. Transportation deserts, overlooked communities, and even the most popular corridors in the world. We started 2020 with 53 recurring routes and over 2 million rides sold. With large events currently paused, Rally is focusing on these recurring intercity routes. Simple innovations have disrupted mobility for individuals traveling relatively short distances. The next phase of mobility is much harder. Rally affects longer trips and solves for surge demand. Not first and last mile, we're the middle mile. Of course, Rally doesn't own buses. There are thousands of local bus companies in the US alone. There are mom and pop businesses that own 10 buses each, and their vehicles are underutilized. Rally is the tech, brand, and marketing that unlocks the value of this industry's excess capacity. The US private bus industry does 700 million trips a year, almost as many as US airlines. Knowing the future is one of public-private partnerships, Rally is connecting these two sides of the bus market. We're working with transit agencies and recently won a DoD grant to utilize Rally tech for mass evacuations during hurricanes and wildfires. Rally has brought together this fragmented industry into a managed marketplace, which is very compelling to Daimler Mercedes, Rally's strategic investor. As the world's largest commercial OEM, they sell a lot of buses. They love us because we create new demand and improve margins for their customers. Daimler's introduced us to bus operators around the world. With our nimble market entry strategy, we're already international. The pandemic has caused market instability. So Rally is finding opportunity by expanding into markets that are restabilizing faster. And while travel is one of the segments hardest hit by the pandemic, we are witnessing pent-up demand and a V-shaped recovery. After a pause during the shutdown, our top routes are already back and rolling. Rally is mass mobility as a service. We have the vision to own this $134 billion market and will be the first global brand in busing. Thank you.
Thanks, Numan. Next up, we welcome Ofo.
Awesome. Good to be with you guys. My name is Ofo Izugu, and I'm CEO and founder of WYL. That's Who's Your Landlord, and our whole focus is on empowering and informing the rental community. There are currently over 110 million renters in the United States, and that's 1/3 of the entire population. My generation of renters, that being millennials and Gen Z, we expect transparency. We want to be acknowledged. At WYL, we even refer to landlords as home providers because that's their job. For millennials and Gen Z, I mean, we grew up with reviews our entire life, right? Online shopping, restaurants, travel, career. But what does that solve for in the housing space and for home? That's WYL. The problem is that there's been a gap of information missing from the renter's experience. And this actually has a damaging effect across every single area of our industry. For renters, they often feel voiceless and don't know much when it comes to their housing literacy. For owners and operators, it's how do you take qualitative insights and turn it into quantitative outcomes, increasing your net operating income, otherwise known as NOI. And for lenders, it's this information is missing, and that doesn't help them when it comes to understanding how to better underwrite assets and also helping them in their loss mitigation and credit and risk management strategies. The solution was to create WYL, which is focused on empowering and informing the rental community through landlord reviews and housing literacy content, and through subscription SaaS software for operators, owners, and lenders to better understand and engage their residents and to increase their net operating income. We've been labeled the MVP of landlord review sites. So we've been featured in Forbes, in Yahoo Finance, Newsweek, and more. We partnered with companies like Allstate, American Express, deals anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 per deal. And we've even been asked to work with local municipalities to help them curb COVID and its effect in the rental space. On the consumer side, we're growing at 13% month over month. We served 35,000 renters just last month, and we have 22,000 landlords reviewed on WYL. Our reviews are 70% neutral to positive in outcome because we ask the questions renters and homeowners genuinely care about. So we have 7 key categories ranging from responsiveness to condition of property and safety. For owners and operators, this insight is helpful because it helps them to improve their retention rates and also helps them to increase their net operating income when it comes to their CapEx and reducing their OpEx. We take the data that we receive from our residents and we transpose that and illustrate it for owners and operators and lenders so they can see month to month how they're performing on WYL. We track over 12 sites across the web so they can also monitor those from their direct dashboard in WYL as well, whether it's Google reviews, Yelp, etc. And then we provide deeper insights into what's actually happening at your properties so you know how to address them. This really leads into our predictive analytics that we're providing for our owners and operators and lenders as well. We're able to predict with an 80% accuracy which sections or categories you must perform best in order to ensure you're retaining your renter, so they're re-signing their lease, and or in order to ensure that they're going to recommend the building or living property to someone else. We have a freemium tier, and we provide owners and operators the ability to respond to resident reviews, and they can reach out to receive 50 verified reviews each month from their own residents. And in our professional package, that is unlimited, so they can reach out to receive as many verified reviews as possible. We charge $2 per unit per month with a $250 minimum for our professional package. And then if you have over 1,000 units, we bump you into that enterprise package, which is $3 per unit per month. And we provide more predictive analytics, more insights, and more demographic and psychographic information too. We also have a one-size-fits-all for lenders. So everything we do is billed annually. We charge lenders $20,000 a year and $1 per unit per month because they don't directly engage with the residents by sending out reviews or by sending out responses to those reviews. We've already helped companies to 3x the value of their portfolio, like Redburn, and we've partnered with the third largest multifamily lender in the US, Berkadia. We're expecting 2.5 million in ARR by the end of this year and over 10 by next year. We're raising $2 million with 725K already committed, all focused on customer success specialists, tech development, as well as data scientists. That's us, and thank you for your time. Take care.
Thanks, Ofo. Stay well.
You too.
Next up, we welcome Ravi from Strayos. You there, Ravi?
Oh, my connection was a bit stable. Hello, everybody. My name is Ravi Sahu, and I'm the founder and CEO of Strayos. And Strayos helps map below the surface information. So this is my deck is still loading. 1 second. Strayos helps map below the surface information for the mining industry. This is a typical mining site where there's a drill and blasting engineer collecting data using low-range scanners to understand what's below the surface mineral excavation planning looks like. This process is highly tedious. It takes up to 1 to 2 days to collect the data, but more importantly, while the data is being collected, the work is at complete stop, which is resulting into a labor machine productivity loss up to roughly $2 million per year. But if the data is not collected right, you're extracting the minerals and a lot of waste that gets generated. What we do is we help the extraction process more efficient by applying computer vision and AI with the data collected by the job sites from the drill machines. So we take the data from the machines, camera systems, and turn them into easily visible understanding of where the minerals are using our artificial intelligence platform. So this is just an example where it's the detection and presence of the minerals that's been located in the existing mine sites. With this, we help understand not only their production improvement, but also how they can effectively mine for areas which are right now not operational. So that leads to a consistent improvement in their output that they are receiving, which is the mineral yield. That's the end of the day everybody's looking to get. And these are some of our customers in 8 different countries, ranging from aggregates to drill and blast to mining companies. And from the top OEMs as well, where we have partnerships. We are roughly into a 700K ARR at the moment, and we'll be doing 1.2 million by the end of 2020. So we have proven the model by applying the software as a service solution into the mining applications, where we're deploying this at a scale where not only at one site, but it's applicable to thousands of sites. We think that we have scaled the company with a handful of go-to-market partners and just doing sales by myself, where we have repeated this model for up to 50 customers. And now we are ready to scale this to thousands of job sites, roughly up to 48,000 customers, which are directly applicable. But globally, the market is much more bigger, up to 300,000 customers. Ever since we have launched, we have achieved a lot of milestones, but more important, one of the milestones that has given us the direct access to 10,000 mining sites by partnering with top 2 drill OEMs. And these are the drill OEMs where we have direct integration, where we can see what's going on at specific sites. Now we're slowly building and expanding a plan where we can leverage our existing AI into those machines. And for that, we are building a machine control AI. That's our vision, where anywhere the drilling and excavation is happening, Strayos controls that part of the process. And also we will be reaching up to a 2 million ARR by 2021. And for that, we are raising 1.5 million to accelerate our pipeline and some key hires, and also prepare for the Series A event. There's some of our team members, ranging from experts in the drilling and mining industry, which we have previous exits. So this is not the first time we are venturing into this side of the industry. We know what the problems are and how it's currently getting operated. These are some of our investors and partners who have helped us come through this along. And now we are building this for the future of the mining industry. We are Strayos. We help map below the surface information. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Ravi. Next up, we have Bethany from SomaDetect.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bethany, CEO of SomaDetect. SomaDetect is an agricultural technology company focused on dairy data and animal health within the global dairy industry. And not everyone knows a ton about dairy farms, although dairy is, of course, a huge part of our food. But the way farms work is that individual cows are milked and their milk is collected into a massive bulk tank on site. And meanwhile, farmers are managing every aspect, health and feed and reproduction and so forth. And all of their revenue on the operation comes from sales of the milk from the bulk tank, although they know nothing about its quality or safety by the time it's even leaving the farm. And oftentimes they're driven to make decisions based on their gut or far too late to be able to really affect change. And all of this adds up. It costs them money, it costs them time, and it costs them cows. SomaDetect is a complete testing lab for each and every milking stall. We analyze milk and provide results on quality as well as individual animal health using our patented sensor technology. We achieve this without any chemicals or reagents by placing an AI-powered sensor right in the milking line. It works by capturing a bulk signal of light transmitted through every drop of milk. We build deep learning algorithms and provide data back to farmers in the dashboard that you see here. All of our data is sent to the cloud, giving our customers access to analytics and reports on the go. Today, we're capturing data from more than 8,000 cows in total, and about 450 of those cows are on this farm you see here in Ontario. This is Summit Home. We first installed sensors as part of a pilot project in summer 2019. And on this farm today, our data makes it possible to manage reproduction and identify sick cows earlier and more accurate than ever before. This provides a return on investment of $16 per cow per month to the farmer. This January, we're installing on a 10,000 cow dairy. It's our largest installation yet. And when we're able to do the same thing there as we do on this 450 cow dairy in Ontario, we'll save this farmer more than $2 million annually. This is something every dairy producer across North America is bracing to see. You may notice we're a hardware and SaaS company. We have a qualified sales pipeline consisting of farms managing more than 200,000 cows. We have OEM integrations planned with two of the world's top dairy equipment companies this year and major pilot initiatives with animal pharmaceutical companies, feed groups, and more. 2020 has been a big year for us. We've had major pilots, a research project come to a close at Cornell University, as well as getting our first farm working end-to-end to demonstrate the power of daily dairy data. 2021 and 2022 will be focused on paid pilots and then transitioning into commercial distribution deals that help us scale. Our team is made up of experts in new product development, commercialization, AI, and dairy. And we're strongly supported by top scientific advisors, dairy research superstars, and our dairy farming community. In dairy, like in many established industries, all data is disconnected and it's in silos. No one has ever had the density of data to actually track meaningful events on a day-to-day basis. Soma gets data from every cow every day. This is something that even the largest and richest companies in the world are not able to do at this scale nor at this density. This industry is changing like so many others. Farms are getting larger and larger. The next generation are taking on multiple operations, more cows, and they want data. They're not interested in farming using the same tools that their grandparents did. And consumers are changing too. We're demanding higher quality food from well-tended animals. And we may have noticed that a decision that we as human beings made about our food supply has recently resulted in a rather impactful global pandemic. And so the world today is bracing. Everyone is looking at where we get our food, how it gets on our plate, and whether it's safe and from reputable sources. SomaDetect controls a unique and key aspect of quality, safety, and animal welfare in dairy. This information is under our control, and within 5 years, we'll be the #1 source of dairy data in the world. We're not currently raising, but we're planning a Series A fundraising round this fall. We'd love to meet folks who are interested in growing with us. This is SomaDetect. This is better data for farmers, better milk for consumers, and better lives for cows. Thank you.
Thanks, Bethany. Nice to see you. Our last, but very not least, presentation will come from Parminder, CEO and founder of Robodub.
Okay, all right, you got it figured out. Hi guys, this is Parminder, founder and CEO of Robodub. The number of packages delivered over the next 10 years are going to double. But the last mile logistics sector is still stuck in 20th century. So what is the solution? Drones. Drones are already delivering medical payloads in North Carolina. They're also delivering medical prescription, including COVID-19 results in Florida today. However, this market is very, very big. And countries like China, India, Germany have already invested a lot of money in developing drone delivery market. This is a great opportunity for investment. But the current drones in the market are not up to the job. They're like iPhone 1, new and shiny, but prone to crashes. They're also bad at multitasking. They can only deliver one package at a time. So I'm pleased to introduce world's first self-adaptive drone. Our fleet of only 30 drones can deliver 10,000 pounds in just a few hours. That's like 3 Honda Civic cars. How's that for a workday? Imagine a warehouse and 4 houses. The competitor drones will go back and forth, and so on. But we can deliver entire flight in just 4 legs, which is 40% faster. And let's talk about safety. Engines fail all the time. However, if an engine fails on our drones, arms of our drone articulate towards the rotor which has failed, and it'll continue to fly. And that'll reduce the risk to injury on the ground. It's easy to see our drone is superior to anything on the market. And it'll set new standard in autonomous drone delivery market. We have US patent on this technology, and I'm pleased to announce just last month, we got 3 more patents in the European market for France, UK, and Germany. And we've also built proprietary flight control software that prevents competition to catch up with us. We are currently focused on healthcare and defense market. Our drones can easily deliver blood units, but they can also deliver food, water, and MRE to soldiers at the battlefield. And it's easy to see the same technology can be applied in different sectors in the future as well. I'm also very pleased to say that just in 2020, $3 million worth of proposals have been accepted by the US government for funding. And we have done over $600,000 of revenue with several government contracts that are currently in execution. One of the top 3 logistics companies in the world has signed an LOI with us. They are interested in our technology, and their budget for acquiring drones over the next 5 years is a 10-digit number. We're also very fortunate that we have a strong partnership with Kaleida Health. And we're working on a pilot project here in Buffalo to deliver blood units from Kaleida Health to Erie County Medical Center. So we are projecting over $100 million revenue over the next 5 years, and our margins are great. Our BOM is just $10,000, so we have a lot of margins. We raised $1.2 million last year. We're just beginning to raise a $10 million round. We have experienced team of top-notch engineers, finance professionals, and business development people. And together, we'll create next Google of drones. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Parminder. Great job. See you soon. And thanks to all of you for joining us today and hanging in here. I know we're a few minutes over. We appreciate your time always, and I wish I could say hope to see you soon, but we'll certainly be in touch very soon with details on how to get in touch with the companies and for follow-up as you desire. Additionally, I thank Kevin again from DLA Piper for the great support and partnership here, as well as my team, both Tiffany, Brian, and Lauren, who really went above and beyond to take an idea we had back in the spring and bring it to life here in the summer. So I appreciate and thank you all. So more to come from us via email. Otherwise, stay well, and we'll talk soon.